Hello, good evening, and welcome to episode 2 of the rebooted Victims of the Punt v2.0. We'll start by saying that Saturday's meeting's at Rosehill, and it's on the lands of the Burramattagal and Darug people, and we acknowledge them as the traditional owners and pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. Next up, I'd like to apologise to anyone, particularly Crowform on Twitter, who was offended by my haircut last week. I've got a bit more time with it this week, and hope you like the results, but if not, well, I'm just doing my best. Look, I think it's fair to say that the star of last week's show was Mark Shean. He absolutely dominated. Found us a winner from his black book of his trial report and told a great story about a betting plunge too. I'm going to I won't say fill the shoes. I'm going to tell a bit of a story about a betting plunge of my own in a little while. And Rob Scurry's found a few early bets too. And of course, we'll have the next episode of Mark Shean's trial report, which will be everyone will be waiting for. Airman, from episode 1, people are throwing the word Coolmore around. Is that a bit premature or going a bit big?
Look, it was a nice win, and we've seen plenty of horses go from midweek company to win group races. But we might throw to Rob here, just give us an update on what he thought of him in the yard. Certainly, I think he had a bit of improvement, Rob.
Yeah, mate. Look, I'm a complete goose. I remember the name was familiar to me, but I like the speedy 5 in the race, and my comment was it's a big horse, not there yet, but walks good. And I was just saying to you off air, Mark, it reminded me a bit of a young Elise. It's got a big frame, but it walks well, and it's got a bit of filling out to do. And I think it is an exciting horse. And our man Shane was quickly touting it on Twitter, copped a bit of grief. But as I keep saying, I'm not sure that the 2-year-olds are much good. And I'm waiting for things to jump out of left field. And this might be one example of that.
Yeah, look, I've got to agree. He had a lot of improvement in him. Maybe early in the day, that was a part of the track to be. It seemed to level out later in the day, but by the same token, he did attack the line. And as we thought from the trials, he was certainly going to be better once he got over a little bit further too. I think he'd be better at 1,400 or 1,600 metres probably even. So it's a bit of upside for him.
Well, I'm glad the name rings some sort of bell for you, Rob. I mean, it's called the Black Book for a reason. You meant to write it down so you don't.
I know, man. It just did ring. It didn't ring a bell, but look, I was happy enough with the bet. I think my thing traded at $1.20. Halfway up the straight, it sped out, kicked away, and that horse could win it. Well, maybe 900-metre maiden. But Mark Rhoden, what's ReadyBet offering the punters this week?
Yes, of course. My new venture, ReadyBet, is the sponsor of this show. This week, we're launching our AFL and NRL promos, kicking off on tonight's game, so check the website out for them. We've got a Wimbledon promo starting Sunday for week 2 of that tournament. And, of course, we've got money back second for races 1 to 3, every Australian track every day. And, of course, check out our Best of the Day and Lay of the Day promos. We have one of them a day. Best of the Day is a free hit. We nominate a horse. You can back it. If it gets beat, get a refund. And Lay of the Day, we pick a lay of the day. If it wins, money back on any runner in that race is refunded, but it does have to win for that promo to click. But, yeah, there's something for everyone, hopefully.
Okay, and story time this week with you, Mark. What have you got for us?
Okay, yeah, look, I won't be able to live up to Mark's exploits in Canberra that he outlined last week, but it does relate to a betting plunge. Cast your mind back to the summer, December of 1988. When I was actually only 14 years old, not in my mid-30s, as Shane Curlio and some other people would have you believe. I'm not quite that old. But I was at the races at Moonee Valley in the school holidays with my paper round money, and I ran into a guy who'd been one of my PE teachers at school and knew my father and used to see him at the races. He said he'd been speaking to someone, a girl he knew, who worked for Robert Smurden, who even back then could pull off a bit of a betting plunge. There was a thing in the last race, a filly that had one start at Ballarat in the winter and a maiden and run 8th, and no one gave it a chance, not surprisingly. But he said they thought it was going to run well today. So I just made a note of it, got to the last race. And every bookmaker in the ring has put up 100 to 1 it, which looked fair enough. So I just went up. I was over 6 foot at 14, so I was able to get a couple of bob on with some of the off-rails bookies, even at age 14. Don't try that at home, kids. Certainly not recommending that. Got $200 to 2 straight out with some of my paper round money this horse. Well, the 100 to 1 didn't last long. 50s within seconds, 33s was gone, 20s hard to get. Then it's into single figures, and the money's still coming. It SP'd 6 to 1. There's a filly called Zuzrab. It was 100 to 1, SP'd 6 to 1, missed the start slightly, hunted up 3 wide the entire, hit the front, run down, beaten a long neck, and I'm on straight out at the hundreds. That was, I had to think about that recently. I think that was 3 months paper round wages for me at that age, and too smart to have anything at the 25s to place as well. So just another sad story. It did win next start. We're pleased to know at even money without. So, look, not quite the. I wasn't going to need the armoured car to get out of the valley for me 200, but it was a lot of money to a 14-year-old. I can tell you that, and I missed out. But that is racing.
Yeah, good to see that you got the same pain as me, Mark.
Well, yeah, we'll move on to what's this week in Sydney racing. And to be honest, the answer is not much happened. It's a bit of hype about the Kosciuszko. Either of you two excited about that, or what? Have any views on what that or the next big prediction for Sydney racing might be?
No, I did see a thing on Twitter that there was something was happening there, so I immediately muted that. So,
what's it going to be? All Too Hard versus the Maria horse?
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, honestly, when we came to this segment for this week, this week in Sydney racing, I was just dot. It is pretty much the dead zone of the year. Not much happening, to be honest. I suppose last week the news that the pop tax in New South Wales is going up to 15% is of interest, certainly to punters, certainly to me as a newly licensed small online bookmaker. Look, I think it's been said elsewhere, and we're going to turn into a bit of an echo chamber here, but it's this stuff just always gets passed on to the punter, doesn't it?
Well, they've got a poker machine mentality. That's the problem with them. They think that nobody can earn a living out of racing, and it's just, it's lazy money that you can just do away with 50, 100 here or there. Yeah. But they're not concentrating at all on anyone who actually survives from the industry.
No, not at all. Well, they're, as you'd know, Mark, absolutely bottom of the list. But even the recreational punter's going to find the screws tightened on them, I think. I mean, firstly, they're going to get less return for their 100, their disposable 100. It's going to go quicker as if the margins tighten. And look, if they like some of those promos that I was mentioning, they're going to have to be scaled back, because bookies paying that level of fees and charges, they've got to be the first things to go. They'll just be totally uneconomical.
What was that in Queensland as well, Mark? The bonus bets were also being included? Was that,
bonus bets, from when that... Well, it's going to 20% as well, and bonus bets are going to be taxed as well as turnover. Look, we haven't actually completely gone through this, but from other bookies I've been talking to too, the knee-jerk gut reaction is you just won't be able to offer bonus bets to Queenslanders anymore. It just will be totally unviable, which is, it's terrible for recreational Queensland punters. They can't get the same offers that everyone else can. But, I mean, also I think authorities and governments in this case, have been a bit starstruck by looking at some of the monstrous profits that the big corporates made during COVID. I mean, it's a complete outlier. That they're going to come back off that in, either in turnover or margin terms. That is going to be a peak. People are going to look back at that year and say those 2 years and say that was a peak. Circumstances have changed. I mean, the economy is going in a different direction now. That stimulus money is going to be turned off. And people are not stuck at home anymore. So that you just can't judge anything by that. Yeah, so just using that as the benchmarkers which they're going to judge everything isn't the way to go. Anyway, look, I think one thing you can be sure of is the rate's not going to come down. Let's just hope they can.
Oh, well, look, it's only gone up 50% this time in 18 months too. So in 18 months, it'll be up another 50% on. So 22, or where are we going? It just seems there'll be no end to it. They just don't care, and they just there's no long-term plan about turnover. It's just that's why they don't even publish it. When I say they, I'm talking about Racing New South Wales.
And there's enough recreational money around for, well, certainly the big corporates. Hopefully, the little corporates like me to survive. But it really puts Betfair in an awful spot too. It's just making it harder and harder for them. And Betfair, of course, is where all the punters who can't get on elsewhere end up. So whichever way you slice it, it's certainly not good news. Anyway, that's enough whinging from me. How about we move on to our next segment, Rob?
Well, it's not a new segment, but I think it will become our most popular segment, and that's the RedfernExpress Blackbookers. Some of the best trialers in New South Wales you can put into your black book, presented by mailbagbloodstock.com.au, where there is a couple of horses available. Atlantic Bay with Gavin Bedgewood, He's airborne at the moment, 2.5% share at 362. Anyone can get in on that one. And just this week, Jack's at it again. He purchased from English Digital Yulong Defence. It's going to be sent up to Tony Gollan. PDS pending, but you can get in touch with Jono if you're interested, and that's jono@themailbag.com.au. Get more info or chat about racing. Jono knows a lot, our trustworthy Kiwi. Mark, you have 3 horses you've identified. We start with Salasel, who trialled at Randwick in Heat 4.
Yeah, Salasel trained by Peter Snowden and carried the green with the white sash. This is a daughter of Fastnet Rock. Now, she had a trial at Rosehill a couple of weeks back where she figured in the finish there, but she didn't go fantastic. But I thought this was a marked improvement on that first trial. Salasel raced right up on the speed here and is under a very good hold all the way up the straight and certainly could have won. I do see that she is nominated for Warwick Farm on Wednesday, but we're probably going to end up with a pretty heavy track there, but just have to see if she does accept. But looking at this vision here, here she is rolling along just outside the lead. Another horse comes up on the outside under a lot more pressure over the concluding stages, and Salasel under a very tight rein all the way up the straight. So I think this impeccably bred daughter of Fastnet Rock certainly is one to put in the Black Book for sure. So as I said, that's a much improved trial from her first trial a couple of weeks ago at Rosehill, and here she's under the good hold down to the line.
Up next, we have 2 horses from Trial 10 at Wyong on Wednesday. Trocha horse I've got a bit of time for, and Tanglewood.
Yeah, well, Troach actually did me a favour. I backed her one day when she won on the Kenzo track. It might have been a first start. In fact, it might have been a second start because I think she tailed out the first start.
She was first up.
First up, yeah.
She was like number 13 or 14.
Yeah. Anyway, they threw her in the deep end. They threw her in a couple of group races. The last one was a Black Opal where she didn't go right on with it there, but she's had a spell now. Now, she shares the lead here. And I've also highlighted the third horse, Tanglewood, who is outpaced in the early stages, giving the leaders about 5 or 6 lengths start, but I really like the way it knuckled down in the straight. Despite being ridden along, I think this horse would be definitely suited to the provincials, but Troach, well, he could have won by 5 or 6 lengths here. Absolutely taken on all the way and just under a stranglehold. But watch this thing down the outside, Tanglewood. So if it's in a race at the provincials in the next couple of weeks, over a little bit further, I reckon it's one you can follow because there is a massive gap back to the 4th horse here of about 6 or 8 lengths. They ran fast time, fast externals. I think that's going to be a pretty strong heat. So Salasel out of Randwick on Tuesday and Troach and Tanglewood out of Wyong on Wednesday.
Excellent. Thanks very much for that, Mark. I'm sure everyone will be jotting them down, putting them in their black book after what you delivered last week. So thanks again for that. Now we'll move on to Saturday's meeting at Rosehill. Rail is out 8 meetings. At this juncture, I should, of course, point out that the mailbag is powered by Punting Form, the best database in racing, puntingform.com.au. Right, the 8 metre rail, that's a bit of a strange one. We don't see that very often. I think there were a couple last winter in the 7 metre plus sort of range. Mark, do you have a view on what you're expecting?
Well, on my figures, we've had 2 8 metre rails there in a couple of years, and it was fair one day and then the fence was off on the second day. So if we get the rain predicted, it might actually be, off rail and like a swooping track. At least it'd be a little bit fairer than what it was there at the last meeting, which was diabolical.
Yeah, that's right. So that was almost every winner was rails in run last time. That was on a 6 metre rail on a firmer surface. I mean, if this predicted rain turns up, then I don't think there's any doubt that by race time we're going to be dealing with something in the heavy range. Hopefully, I mean, we don't want a real heavy track, but if there is a silver lining to that cloud, it is that the track pattern might be a bit more even. Anyway, so we've identified 4 races we might like to have a look at. Before we get into that, we've got the just highlight some jockey data from Punting Form. And the man we're looking at here is Hugh Bowman. He's not only profitable, but has an elite strike rate, at Rosehill. You can just back all his Rosehill mounts and make 5.9% pot at SP, and he's striking at 18.4%. So that he, on figures anyway, is the Rosehill specialist. Now we'll get into the 4 races we're going to have a bit of a deeper look at. We start with race 6. I'll give you the market here. The main chances in the market are number 2, Lease. Number 2, Lease at $6, 5, Flash Flood at $7.50, 6, Colino at 5, 7, And We Dance at 6, 8, Kanazawa at 5, 11, Lolly Yates at 11, and 13, Fjordland at 13. Mark, I think this is one of your better bets for the day, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't mind Kanazawa here. Look, last week I was tossing the coin between two horses in 2 races and went the wrong way both times. So I was sort of down here with Colino and Kanazawa. They did clash for Kanazawa's last start. Colino subsequently won last week, but I thought Kanazawa was a bit better run there at Randwick. That's him on the extreme outside in the blue jacket. Now, he had to drag back to last on that occasion. Colino is in the purple and white stars there, and he just tracked the leaders coming into the straight, and Kanazawa was still able to run past him coming from the back of the field. Now, this was Jojo the Man winning the race, which, of course, has come out and subsequently won again, and Crosstalk is one of the favourites for another race at Rosehill on Saturday. I just saw Kanazawa was given a little bit too much to do here. He was narrowly beaten on a wet track a couple of starts ago by Moon Reader. And look, he's only a lightly framed type who I think will get through the ground. So I thought it was a pretty good run there the other day. And Colino, obviously, the hardest to beat after that strong win last week. Rob?
Well, yeah, I think I've gone the other way. I've gone Colino. The people will say he'll be favoured by where he came through to win last week, but he won in a really, really soft fashion to my eye, and a run that looked like wouldn't take much out of him. He's a sort of athletic, lightly framed, I'd almost call him a wet track style of horse, Colino. So I think, and if you're not betting on Chris Waller to win most of the races, then you're not going to win enough races, because he's dominant at Rosehill. And yeah, I'm with Colino. And look, Kanazawa is obviously the main danger, but yeah, Colino for me.
Yeah, I might let the punters sort this one out here. That you've gone each of 2 with the 2 favourites between you, and there's according to the early betting, there's a few other chances as well. I thought Lease might get an easy lead, but that might not be any joy on Saturday. But he did appear to be probably the only speed in the race on the map. We move over to race 7 now, and we'll again start with the main chances are number 1, Nicky's Fling at $5.50, 3, Sur La Mer at $5, 4, Per Inaway at $5, 5, Safika, the import at 13, 6, Steel Diamond at 6, 8, Raduna, just ever so slightly holds favouritism at $4.80, and down to number 11, 6 again at $13. Now, Rob, I think you want to open the bowling this time.
Okay, well, again, it's Uncle Chris for me. There's one horse for him I kind of love, and another one I hate, but I think one of the 2 will win. And I've gone with the one I hate because I'm a masochist. Steel Diamond, a horse that I thought was going to win last start, and I had one of my biggest bets in months on it. And to no fault of Huey's, I think the horse got pushed to the inside, which I don't think it appreciated. I've had a look at it. It's heavy form. It hasn't won for a long, long time. And it just got a touch of Hulk about it last week, another sort of a maligned Waller horse, which I always thought looked like a good Saturday type. And Steel Diamond, to me, has always been a nice style of horse. Sur La Mer, I've been on it both times this time in, done me well, but I just got a feeling it's going to be finally Steel Diamond's day with no wet track jockey Jason Collett to ride.
Yeah, it looks a bit of a tricky race to me. I was on Steel Diamond myself at Kenzo the other day. Yeah, you might be right, Robert. She did race tight on the inside there. Maybe it didn't fancy that. I think it's a tricky race. I thought 1A had a chance there. I thought a trial would normally race to well. Fresh handles a bit of ground, and Radoon and probably get a soft lead. I think it's a tough race, though.
Yeah, betting certainly suggests that it's another race where it's around $5, $4.80, $5 the field. So again, I think I'll let the punters sort that one out.
Oh, you're so. Come on, Mark.
What, I'm retired.
Oh yeah, you just love your new role, don't you? It's
great.
I just sit back
I was no good at punting. I thought that wasn't news, mate. Come on.
All right. Fair enough. You are. I'm the tipster. You're the bookie.
We move over to race 9, the Vale Nick Moratis handicap. That was sad news. Leviathan, owner of Might and Power, among many others. Nick Moratis.
I remember. I was at the 97 Caulfield Cup as a 17-year-old. Walked into the yard, Might and Power, and I thought, look at this. It just ripped. And I thought, it's overcooked. It's trained it too much. To win the way it did was amazing. Went past me at 300, like a rocket.
Yeah.
Overcooked. Did you see the run in the Epsom the start before? He never let it go.
I heard about that, but yeah, look, it was just like muscle upon muscle upon muscle, and you know me, I like my Chris Waller style, I like my horse with a little bit of improvement in him. He looked like he was trained to the minute, and I was like, "What's this?" I think it was about $10, $9.
I was there that day too. I think it was about 23 though.
I recall backing Doremus, like one of the few times I ever backed Doremus, not one of my horses. Backed him, 1 by 3. I think he ran 4th for memory.
So anyway, glad he won the double. He got me out of a lot of trouble. I was having a bad trot. I bet up on him in the Epsom. I don't tell you how much I had on him, but it was a large bet. I got the double. Thank Christ.
Oh, wow.
The Cups double?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
When Greg Hall put the hand up.
Yeah, Greg Hall. Oh, God. I won't tell you what I was on. It was Doremus, of course. Anyway, we'll get to the main chances in this race, the Nick Marauders Handicap. Number 1, Lakeen at 6. Oh, look, I should say that all 3 emergencies are in the market here, so this market will be subject to change. But we'll just read you what we've got at the moment. 1, Lakeen at 6. 2, Lord Ardmore at 10. 4, Jojo Was a Man. 4, 60. 6, Wairiri Falls 10. 7, Yee 13. 11, Irish Legend 7. 12, Easy Far 850. 13, Indiciano 12. Then down to the emergencies, 15, More Than Number 1 at 6. 16, Wicklow at 360. And number 17, Crosstalk at $3.80. Who's taking the lead here?
I would never bet in this race at gunpoint. Have a look at them. The 2 emergencies, the 2nd and 3rd emergencies are the 2 to beat, aren't they? Jojo the Man won't run surely from 16. No,
it's out. I'm looking at the rise.
It's already out. Is he okay?
I don't know whose turn it is this week. Whose turn is it? Do you know?
Well, I'll certainly be looking at a Waller runner to back. Wicklow. Did me a favour last week when it stormed from the back. One of the few horses. But I've always had a bit of a thing for Easy Far. I'm not sure if she's a wetty type. I'm not sure if she'll run. And I was starting to see other week on the quick backup with that Wairiri Falls. Was that the one that ran last week with Jono, our bloodstock it's not intern. A bloodstock manager. His dad's in that. But yeah, I look, Yee, new arrangement. I think Chris is going to win, but for me, Easy Far is 3rd up now, and if it handles the wet, I've always thought it was going to be a good horse.
Well, you'd have to say Wicklow did the impossible the other day, though, didn't he? It was rails in running handy, and he came from last and down the outside. So if he improves off that, you'd think he'd have to be probably the one to beat if he gets a run.
Yes, he's in the race, mate.
You got him? Okay.
Yeah, more than number 1's out. So
I'm sorry, I didn't say that.
I don't know how late I can push back compiling these prices. I thought I'd left it late enough today, but there we go. 2 out in the last half an hour. I was going to offer an opinion there, Rob. I thought Wicklow, as Mark touched on, against the pattern was sensational last start, and I thought he's probably the one to beat in this. But those prices are going to look quite different come Saturday, I think.
Well, let's hope you do a better job on the prices next week. I know that.
Thank you for that feedback, that in-running feedback. We'll just move out. We've got one to go. It's the last. And the main chances in the betting are as follows. Number 1, Titanium Power, $5. Number 4, Waihaha Falls, $3.70. 5, El Buena, $10. 7, Tamerlane, $5.50. 10, River Moss, $13. And 15, Overlord is $12. And I think we're back to you, Mark, aren't we? This is one of your best bets.
Yeah, look, I backed Waihaha Falls first up. I thought he'd trial outstanding. He's a good horse, fresh, and he's a good horse, in fact, in first couple of runs. But look, he's lightly framed, but I thought he'd built up a little bit from last preparation. Look, he was very forward to winning it on last week or 2 weeks ago, I'm sorry. But he got into a good spot. And I just love the way he accelerated over the concluding stages. Admittedly, he got a good run in the race, but he's won on wet tracks in the past. And I can see him get into a reasonable position here in the first half of the field. Probably I've got him mapping about 4th or 5th. I think there'll be a bit of speed on in the race. Titanium Power will go forward. Peyton Place will want to go forward as well. So I think they'll string out. I know he's up a little bit in weight, but I was very impressed with that win the other day, and I think he's very hard to beat again.
Any thoughts, Rob? That's Mark makes a strong case.
Yeah, he does. And he's got Reece Jones on, who's probably, I don't know what he's striking out. We could get punting form up if people are interested for next week. But look, Titanium Power, I'm still kicking myself. I didn't back it the last week. Silent Agenda's also been one of mine, but might want it a little bit further. And I'll probably just have a mental health bet on Joviality because I've been on that last 2 starts. I thought it was very, very stiff first up with Ellen Hennessy, and I'm not sure what to make of the last run. Possibly too bad to be true. So I just like to back them until they win.
Sorry, mate. I wonder if Ruben Moss has got any sort of chance here. I thought he was just in the wrong spot the other day. Thought he'd trial okay coming into this. He got back and wide at Rosehill and did make up some ground down the outside. So
you'd expect it to be closer in the run, wouldn't you?
You'd think so. And I thought he might be worth a spec at double figures, but I do think the 4 is the one to beat.
Okay, that brings the preview part of the show and, in fact, the whole show to an end. So just to recap those best bets, Mark likes race 6, number 6, Colino.
No, that's
me. There we go.
Well, I'll take it if it wins. So.
Yeah. I'm pretty keen on Colino.
To look the best after the event, whichever way.
Yeah, we'll just cut it up either way. Like if one of them doesn't win, just say Rob's mic dropped out or something.
I'll be honest, you could have an amazing strike rate doing it this way, but Mark actually does like race 6, number 8, Kanazawa, and race 10, number 4, Waihaha Falls. Rob's best to date was race 6, number 6, Colino, but of course, the way Rob does it, it'll be all about the updates from the yard on the day. Head to the mailbag, download the app, and get Rob's mounting yard stuff. You're mad if you don't. Anyway, so that's episode 2 of the New Victims of the Punt done. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support. I'm hopefully getting some of the rustiness out in this hosting gig. It's all new to me, but hopefully we'll get there. In episode 3, I'll be better again. But we'll see how we go. Anyway, Mark, Rob, thank you very much, and we'll do it again next week. Thank you.